We exist in a vast, interconnected web of cause and effect, a phenomenon the ancients called samsara, or the endless wandering. In this modern digital age, this wandering has intensified. We are constantly pulled by the invisible strings of notifications, sudden crises, and the emotional volatility of others. We believe we are the masters of our destiny, yet, if we observe closely, we behave more like puppets. A harsh word pulls a string, and we dance in anger. A compliment pulls another, and we dance in pride. To live in a state of constant reaction is to be a slave to the external world. But there is an exit from this loop. It does not require you to retreat to a cave in the Himalayas, nor does it ask you to suppress your humanity. It requires a shift in envision, a movement from the chaotic surface of the ocean to the stillness of the deep. This is the art of non-reaction, or more accurately, the power of the sacred pause. Let us explore this through a different lens. Imagine an ancient emperor who ruled a kingdom of vast wealth and military might. He was a man accustomed to absolute control. If a mountain blocked his path, he had it carved away. If a river flooded, he built dams. He believed that power was the ability to force the world to bend to his will. One day, seeking to understand the nature of an unconquerable enemy, he visited a legendary temple of mirrors, hidden high in the mist-shrouded peaks. The high priest of the temple led the emperor into a great hall where the walls, floor, and ceiling were made of polished silver. The emperor stepped into the center of the room. Instantly, he was surrounded by thousands of figures. He frowned, feeling threatened by the crowd. In the mirrors, thousands of figures frowned back, their expressions dark and menacing. Feeling challenged, the emperor drew his sword and struck a combat pose. 1,000 warriors surrounded him, all drawing their swords, all ready to strike. The emperor, fueled by adrenaline and the instinct of survival, began to fight. He slashed at the air, screamed war cries, and parried invisible blows. The reflections matched his fury with equal intensity. For hours, the emperor battled these phantom enemies, his heart pounding, his breath ragged, sweating profusely as he fought a war against his own projections. Finally, the emperor collapsed from exhaustion, dropping his sword. He lay on the cold silver floor, panting, defeated by an enemy he could not touch. The high priest, who had been watching silently from the shadows, stepped forward. He did not carry a weapon. He simply offered a small, serene smile. Instantly, 1,000 reflections in the room smiled back. The menacing army of the mirror world transformed into a gathering of peaceful monks. The priest spoke softly, his voice echoing through the hall. He told the emperor that the world is very much like this hall of silver. It has no inherent mood of its own. It merely reflects the energy you project into it. You fought the mirrors, and the mirrors fought you. You were not defeated by an external enemy, but by your own reaction. This story illustrates the architecture of our daily suffering. We often believe that the fly in the traffic jam, the rude email, the financial setback, is the cause of our misery. But the ancient wisdom of the Dharma suggests otherwise. It introduces the concept of the second arrow. The first arrow is the event itself, the physical pain or the unpleasant situation. This arrow is often unavoidable. It is the nature of existence. But the second arrow is the one we shoot into ourselves. This is our reaction, the narrative we spin, the anger we hold, the resentment we cherish. The first arrow might hurt for a moment, but the second arrow can leave a wound that festers for a lifetime. To understand how to stop shooting this second arrow, we must bridge this ancient wisdom with modern understanding. When a trigger occurs, your brain's amygdala, the ancient sentinel responsible for survival, sounds the alarm. It hijacks your rational prefrontal cortex. This is why, in a moment of rage, you are literally not in your right mind. You are operating on software designed to fight a saber-toothed tiger, not to navigate a complex social disagreement. The reaction is a biological program. However, between the stimulus and the response, there is a space, a gap. In that gap lies your freedom. Consider the story of Alina, a virtuoso violinist living in a bustling modern metropolis. Elena was a perfectionist. Her life was a tightrope walk of high performance. If she missed a single note during practice, she would spiral into self-criticism. If a colleague made a passive-aggressive comment, she would ruminate on it for days, losing sleep and focus. Her reaction time was instantaneous, and it was destroying her art. Her music, technically perfect, lacked soul because her mind was cluttered with the noise of reaction. One evening, before a major concerto, her bowstring snapped. In the past, this would have been a catastrophe, a trigger for panic and rage. But Alina had begun studying the practice of silent observation. Instead of cursing the bow, she simply looked at it. She felt the surge of heat in her chest, the adrenaline spike, but she did not become it. She treated the sensation like a cloud passing over a mountain. The mountain does not yell at the cloud, it simply witnesses it. She took a deep breath, replaced the bow, and walked onto the stage. During the performance, a phone rang loudly in the front row. The audience gasped. The conductor flinched. Alina, deep in her flow, heard the ring. Her old self would have tensed up, angry at the disrespect, and her playing would have become jagged. But the new Alina, the one who mastered the gap, allowed the sound to enter her awareness and pass through. She did not grab onto it. She did not label it bad. She simply poured more emotion into her violin, weaving the disruption into the tapestry of the moment. The performance was transcendent. Afterward, she realized that true mastery was not about controlling the environment, but about remaining fluid within it. She had become like water, yielding, yet unstoppable. This fluidity is what the Taoists call Wu Wei, or effortless action. It is often misunderstood as passivity. People fear that if they do not react with anger, they will become doormats, allowing others to walk over them. This is a dangerous misconception. Non-reaction is not submission, it is the ultimate strategic advantage. When you react in anger, you reveal your position. You show your buttons. You give away your power to the person who triggered you. As the Stoics would say, if someone can anger you, they have conquered you. By contrast, the person who does not react remains an enigma. They are the calm eye of the storm. When you respond from a place of stillness, your actions are surgical and effective. You are responding with panna, or wisdom, rather than the raw, chaotic energy of the kleshas, or destructive emotions. Imagine a glass of water filled with mud. This is your mind when triggered. The more you stir it by analyzing the insult, by planning your revenge, by venting to friends, the muddier it becomes. The only way to clear the water is to leave it alone, to let it sit. Slowly, the heavy silt of emotion settles to the bottom, and the water of the mind becomes transparent again. Only then can you see the correct path forward. But how do we cultivate this seemingly superhuman skill in a world designed to trigger us? We must treat it as a training of the nervous system, a gym for the mind. The first step is the pause. When the email comes in that makes your blood boil, commit to a mandatory delay. Do not type. Do not speak. Physically remove your hands from the keyboard. Close your eyes. Visualize the anger as a dark fog moving through your body. Acknowledge it. I am feeling anger right now. By naming it, you detach from it. You shift from being the character in the movie to the audience watching the screen. The second step is expanding your perspective through the lens of emptiness sunyata. Understand that the person triggering you is also a puppet. They are acting out of their own traumas, their own bad days, their own biological programming. Often, their aggression has nothing to do with you. You are just the screen upon which they are projecting their own movie. When you realize this, the anger dissolves into compassion, or at least indifference. You stop taking the poison and expecting the other person to die. We must also rewrite our definition of strength. Society tells us that the loud man, the table slammer, is the strong one. But true strength is the ability to contain the fire without burning the house down. It is the discipline of the bodhisattva, the warrior of wisdom. Think of the great ocean. On the surface, there may be crashing waves and violent storms. But deep down, 50 feet below the surface, the water is always silent, always still. The goal of non-reaction is to live from that depth. You can still engage with the storms on the surface. You can still set boundaries, fire an employee, or end a toxic relationship, but you do so from the deep, cold clarity of the depths, not the chaotic frothing of the surface. Let us return to the wisdom of the reflection. The world will always offer you mirrors. It will offer you difficult bosses, ungrateful children, and failing technology. These are not obstacles to your PC, they are the tests of your practice. Every trigger is a teacher. Every moment of frustration is an opportunity to burn away the false self, the ego, that demands the world be different than it is. When you stop fighting the reflections, you preserve your vital energy. Anger is expensive. It burns glucose, stresses the heart, and weakens the immune system. Serenity is efficient. By not reacting, you accumulate a reservoir of power, a charisma that draws others to you. People feel safe around a non-reactive person because they are like a sturdy rock in a rushing river. As you integrate this into your life, remember that you will fail. You will snap. You will yell. You will send the text you regret. This is part of the path. Do not shoot a second arrow of guilt for having shot the second arrow of anger. Simply observe the failure. Learn from it. Reset. The practice is not about becoming a robot. It is about reducing the refractory period, the time it takes you to return to baseline. Ultimately, the power of not reacting is the power of freedom. It is the freedom to choose your state of being regardless of the circumstances. It is the realization that your internal weather does not half match to match the external storm. You are the sky, vast and untouched by the clouds that pass through it. So, the next time the storm rises, remember the emperor in the hall of mirrors. Put down the sword. Stop fighting the reflections. Breathe into the silence. Let the mud settle. In that stillness, you will find a power that no army can conquer and a peace that no noise can disturb. This is the alchemy of the mind. This is the way. The ancient texts remind us that holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else's. You are the one who gets burned. The heat you feel, your own biological machinery turning against you. Let the coal drop. Cool your hands in the waters of mindfulness. There is a final secret to this practice of gratitude for the difficult. It sounds counterintuitive, but the difficult person is your greatest asset. Without the resistance of the wind, the kite cannot rise. Without the friction of the stone, the blade cannot be sharpened. Thank the chaos for giving you the chance to practice order. Thank the noise for teaching you to value silence. Walk gently through this world. Respond with reason, not emotion. Let your actions be born of clarity, not confusion. And in the end, you will find that by conquering your own reactions, you have, in a very real sense, conquered the world.